Hello, welcome to a celebration of 60 years of Help, the fifth album from a group you've probably heard of called the Beatles, released, of course, in August 1965. Now, I'm JSB. The one who's not me is also not Trey Holmes, but he is, in fact,
Yes.
Shawn from Reactions to the Classics. Um, Welcome back to Acting is Reacting. I hope you're coping in the midday Texas heat.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you, JSB. And yes, a little computer glitch. So I'm not Trey, I'm Shawn. If I was Trey, I'd be better looking and probably a lot smarter. But appreciate you having me back on a subject that in my musical knowledge I know more about than anything else. So it would be the Beatles. Not more than a lot of people watching this, but for myself. So yeah, looking forward to this.
Yeah, well, I mean, people who don't know Reactions to the Classics should definitely head over there because there's a ton, or possibly 2 tons now of Beatles stuff there. So
Yeah,
if you
there
like this
definitely
video, which
is.
I'm sure you will, you'll like plenty more over there. So don't miss it. So today we are going to be giving Help what I call the random foreplay treatment. Now, what the heck is that? You might very well ask, and I'll tell you. In and around our chat about the album, we will select 4 songs from it to listen to along the way and spark some of the discussion points as we go. The random part comes in that we don't just pick our obvious favourites, because that would be far too simple. We will generate the tracks in a random order and select them in a kind of best of 3 style as we go along. So before we actually start all of that, Shawn, what are your initial thoughts on this album?
Well, this album's fantastic. I think it's I don't know if it's the first jump, maybe A Hard Day's Night is, but this album is really, really good. And it is packed with some fantastic high highs. I think more high highs than any of the albums up to this point. And kind of gives us a little glimpse into what is to come. And one of the great debates in the Beatles world is, do you like this song or Rubber Soul better? Is Rubber Soul is the next one in the realm of things. And I think that's a great discussion. We won't have it now, of course, but people undersell this album. So I
Yeah.
love it. I went back and looked. We ranked the Beatles albums. As you said, we have over 100 Beatles videos up on the channel. I didn't even remember where I ranked this 5 years ago. I ranked this number 6, but I said in the video just because I couldn't rank it any higher because everything else is so great, not because it's not great. So yeah, looking forward to bringing this to people.
Nice. Well, for me, I'm probably not quite as high on this album as you are. I would say side one, in the old vinyl terms, of course, is the best side of the Beatles
Oh
album up to
yeah,
this point.
yeah,
Side two for me is a heck of a lot more patchy,
that's fair. Yeah.
and we might get into that. So for me, of the early albums, I'm still a Hard Day's Night truther, as the kids might say. Um, but yeah, there's still an awful lot of great tunes here, and a couple of ones that are not. But
Yeah.
the beauty of this format is that we should be able to avoid those ones, but we'll find out. And of course, the choices we make are entirely our own, and outside pressure or indeed internal pressure is not to be factored into it. As to we hear what we want to hear, not what we think we should hear. But yeah, that said, let us make a start with your first choice.
Right.
Um, are you ready?
I'm
I
ready.
will let you know 3 random songs that you can choose from. So they're going to be, you've got at least one great options to start with. I've just seen a face. You've got a difficult choice to make because it's
Okay.
between that or Help, or you're going to lose that girl. Oh my goodness, that's a stat first choice.
Yeah, those are 3 fantastic ones. Two of my most favorite, two of my favorite Beatles tunes that are not greatly known, or You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, and I've Just Seen a Face. But Help is one of the best Beatles songs of all time. That's a big thing to. I guess I got to choose Help, even though I might like I've Just Seen a Face better. But you got to go with Help.
Excellent. Okay, we will do. So before we do, just a quick reminder to people that the music won't be in the YouTube version of this video, but there will be a link down in the description below. Thank you for helping with the downs there, Shawn. Where you can see the whole thing with the music included. Now, we won't be talking or indeed singing much over the music, so you're good to watch it either way, whatever is your preference. But let's kick it off. As we did last week with Fleetwood Mac, we're opening up with the opening track, strangely enough. And here it is. There we go. An excellent opening to an album. which of course didn't quite open the US version. So we should mention that we are, of course, playing the UK album version here, which is the proper thing with the full 14 tracks, not the true soundtrack album, I guess you'd call the American version.
Always the UK versions of the Beatles. Ignore the US versions. I don't care what other people say. Fantastic song. Ranked 29th on the Rolling Stones top 500 songs of all time. So you can think whatever you want of that list, but that tells you how highly people still think of this song. And John said that this and Strawberry Fields Forever were the only two songs that he felt were genuine that he wrote for the Beatles and not made to order. So it is a cry out literally for help. And I think that adds something to this song.
Yeah, definitely. But he also kind of expressed regret that they changed the pacing of the song, didn't he? Because he sort of
Well,
read
on
it
the
as
whole album, they
slower.
didn't. Yeah, they didn't like. He didn't like, and neither did any of them. Eventually, oh, there's a lot of manipulation on this album too, as well. We might as well say with the voices and different things as well, which eventually they weren't too thrilled with. But on that note, let's mention the brilliance of George Martin because this song is so well done. Like all the production, everything is just fantastic. It's a great album opener.
Yeah, absolutely. It kicks things off in exactly the right way. And they knew how to sequence things by this point in
Yeah,
time.
they did.
Although we say that when we get to side two.
Side two. No, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, it's a great song, great opener. And thank goodness they changed the title for the movie to or from rather, what was it, Eight Arms to Hold You or
Something like that. I can't
something like
remember.
that? That was apparently another Ringoism that they
Yeah.
were going to call it, but they couldn't think of a song to come up with it. So yeah. Um, Speaking of the film, have you ever seen it?
I have not. I've only seen A Hard Day's Night. That's it. I've never seen Help. Have you seen Help?
I've not seen Help. It's bizarre because I've
You're
seen
the
a
actor.
hard
Come on, man.
I've seen A Hard Day's Night a bunch of times, and there's very few films I can say that about. So quite why I've never got around to Help, I do not know. I'm sure I'll see it one of these years. But
I've heard that we're not missing anything, but I'll just leave it at that.
well, I mean, I couldn't sit through Magical Mystery Tour, so
No,
as long as it's better than
no.
that.
Yeah.
Anywho, now it's time for me to choose our next little track. So let's see what options are available to me. I'll just let Help finish playing so that it clicks over
So you
to
get
the
the yeah, you get
it
the
gets the
view or the
play count
listen.
right
Yeah.
in the system. So that was the first second of You're Going to Lose That Girl, which sadly I can't choose because that was part of Shawn's choices. But I have got Tell Me What You See, Yesterday, or Ticket to Ride.
Oh man, you better
So
choose the right one. I'm just gonna say that.
okay, I guess to some people this would be another difficult choice, but for me it's not really. Um, I will just say before I go ahead with this that I changed the format of the random foreplay after doing Beatles for Sale last year because I used to just do whatever the first four songs are that come up on this random order is those are going to be the ones that you hear. So I did that with A Hard Day's Night, and I got Can't Buy Me Love, Anytime at All, If I Fell, and I'll Be Back. Pretty solid bunch of tunes, right?
Right.
I tried again with Beatles for Sale. I started off
Mm.
okay with What You're Doing. Then I got Rock and Roll Music. Mm. Then I got Honey Don't.
No, don't. Don't.
And we wound up that particular foreplay with I'm a Loser. So at least ended on a high note. But today, I mean, we would have, on the original format, had a pretty good four. I obviously tell me what you see is not going to be one of the things I'm choosing between here. But if we'd had that and the three choices that you had to make, that would have been decent.
Yeah.
But anyway, after the Beatles for Sale debacle, as I call it, I changed up the format. So hopefully people like that. And of course, as we're going along, do tell us in the comments what choices you'd be making out of these, because some of these are hard. Anyway, back to this choice, which I'll remind you was Tell Me What You See, Yesterday, and Ticket to Ride. I'm going to please Shawn and hopefully lots of other people. Evan David, if you're out there, this is for you as well. It's Ticket to Ride, of course it is. And it sounds, if you can't remember, like this. All right, Ticket to Ride. And Shawn, I know you don't like a long song, but how do you feel about the first Beatles song to be more than 3 minutes?
I was going to say that. Yeah, their seventh consecutive number one in the UK. John says that this is the first heavy metal song ever. I don't know about that, but this
Well,
song is so freaking good. Like when you just listen to it like this, JSB, just in the quiet here and just it's just so well put together. This is the first recording session that this was recorded that they ever taped their rehearsals and started taking it more serious. But John is absolutely cooking on this album between this and Help. I mean, he is,
yeah,
these two songs, the vocal performances, but everything on this song works for me. And the story behind it, which I won't share here for time purposes, but pretty interesting as well. But what do you think of this? Do you think that how does this stack up to Help for you?
like between the two, I prefer Help, but I've always liked the song, and I've known it since I was this big because this was one of the stack of Beatles 45s that my mum had, and her little
Awesome.
box of 45s that I was allowed to play from a very young age because I wasn't allowed to play proper records because my fingerprints would get all over them because my hands were big enough to lift the damn things. But I was allowed to play the 45, so we had this, and I actually rather like the B side as well. Yes, it is. Um, so this is, yeah, I mean, it's just a fabulous song from top to bottom. And that quote about being the first heavy metal song, you've got to bear in mind in John's lifetime, what
Yeah,
what's called heavy metal and what we call it is very different.
true
Uh,
that.
Especially in the UK press in the early 80s. Basically, if something was more rock than pop, it was called heavy metal. So, you know, but yeah, you can hear what he's saying. It's a heavier Beatles song by far, but
For sure.
at the same time, I think if he's saying this is the first really heavy song, then I think they got beaten to the punch by the Kinks with "You Really Got Me" and
Yeah.
probably some
And
Stones things
six.
as well. But
Yeah.
it's definitely a change in direction, and yeah, killer tune. There's not many collaborations between John and Paul by this point. It's kind
Hmm.
of disputed as to how much of a collaboration this was. John at one point said that Paul's contribution was saying to Ringo how he should play the drums. Speaking of which, I mean, fantastic performance from Ringo on this.
Yes.
Uh, so whoever was the inspiration for that playing should get a reward, whether that's Paul or not. Um, Paul kind of gave it 60-40 to John, but I mean, in all honesty, this is a John song. Let's
Yeah, it's
not.
a John song. Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting how quickly the Lennon McCartney songwriting partnership had, within a couple of years, really split to the individual writing styles. And it's pretty obvious to most people, I think, who wrote the bulk of what from this point on.
Yeah,
I'm,
definitely,
I'm,
for sure.
I'm not saying that one wrote more than the other, but you can tell song to song
Oh yeah.
whose it is. So yeah, uh, we've done very well. We've got a couple of what I would call landmines lying in wait for us.
We do. Oh, we
Uh,
do. Yeah, you've knocked out a couple songs that I love that we couldn't choose. So,
it's
yeah.
the beauty of this format, or indeed the flaw.
No, it's great. It's a surprise.
It's the jeopardy, got to keep
Yeah,
things exciting and keep us on our toes. So, are you ready to see what's in store for you for your second
I am. If it
choice?
has one of the three songs that I really want right now, yeah, I am ready.
Well, let's hope for at least one, and let's hope not all three, because that will leave me with not much to choose from, probably.
True.
Anywho, again, I have to let this play out because despite them being short songs, there's several seconds of silence at the end of it. So I'm just drifting away, letting Ticket to Ride play out.
Oh, there it is.
So,
And as you said, I
choice
just got to
number
jump in
one.
real quick. When we talk about sequencing, that Ticket to Ride was the end of side A, and what you were referencing over the start of side B is our boy Ringo with Act Naturally. What a difference as you listen, go from one to the other. But and now it'd be appropriate if you
Yeah.
just queued up Act Naturally as one of my choices, but it will not be taken.
Well, it is indeed your option. And I think that's if you're listening to it on a CD or streaming and you get
Yeah.
those boom back
Back.
to back, you must be thinking, what the hell?
Yeah, it's a little jarring.
Yeah. So I'm going to assume that's not the choice you'll take, but let's see, because your other choices are Lizzie Miss Lizzie
Oh,
or You Like Me Too Much. So
uh, yeah, it didn't give me the one I wanted. How could you do this to me?
it's
Not a
cruel.
very kind host. Uh, I guess we're gonna have to go with. I mean, Dizzy Miss Lizzy is a good vocal performance. I don't like the song. For purposes of we've got to hurry up, I guess I'm going to take. Actually, sorry, George. I guess I'll take Dizzy Miss Lizzy. I guess.
Wow, okay. I didn't expect that, but
What you think I was going with? You like me too much?
I thought you probably would. I thought just based solely, I mean, I've been watching your help uh, reactions, etc., on the channel as kind of stimulus for this week. And I did note, I was actually quite surprised on your original review. Both you and Trey were quite kind to both of those covers. But then
Yeah,
when you came to do your album or song ranking, it was like, oh, yeah,
yeah,
they're right for the bottom. Yeah.
yeah. Things had changed a little bit. Yeah, we were still drinking the riding the high of never hearing any of this most of this Beatles stuff, you know. So it was like but yeah, let's listen to John's performance here. I've already talked about Help and Ticket to Ride, just how John was on fire. This song isn't great, but his vocal performance is pretty damn good.
All right. Well, it's a slightly controversial song. Some people love it, some
Yeah.
people hate it. So let's see what we think today. This is Dizzy Miss Lizzy. Lizzy? Lizzy, even. And it sounds like this. All right.
Okay.
Well, that's the ending of the album. Again, sequencing slightly off, unusually for George and the boys.
Yeah, and let's just to tell it like it, I chose the wrong thing here. What are you like? I just like no man, like this song's kind of trash. Sorry, Beatles fans. I think were they trying to capture the twist and shout energy at the end of Please Please Me? Yeah, even the guitar got annoying there to me at the end. I'm like, is this ever going to
Yeah.
end? And it's a short song. So anyway, boys and girls, we'll just chart that up to Shawn, or as my name says, Trey. Screwed this one up, but that's really all I got to say about that, JSB.
Well, yeah, I think you did make the wrong choice, but I didn't exactly give you much to go on.
No, you
Um,
didn't, but still, I let you down. But all right, now
I've
you've got to make the right choice here. That's all I got to say.
well, we shall see. And of course, we're going to have two left over, which we'll see what we do with. If we've got time, we might fit in the fifth if there's something really great hiding in amongst there.
I don't
But
think there's
we
much
have to
great left, but go ahead.
get. Well, we might not. Those are the two options available to us.
True.
First of all, though, Dizzy Miss Lizzy, I don't particularly have a problem with the song. But as you say, the riff is good for the first 20 seconds and then it just gets
Right.
irritating. John's vocal's great. Ringo's great. That's about all there is to say, really. If it was on Beatles for Sale or with the Beatles, it wouldn't stand out so much. But because there's so
Yeah.
much on this album that is properly great, it just doesn't belong here.
Great point. Great point.
Anyway, we'll move on from that debacle, and it still beats Honey Don't.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You can say that about any song you mentioned, but yeah.
Hey, I got in trouble for saying Honey Don't was trash. So
Oh, we've got many
drop
comments over the years,
drop
but
hate to Shawn in the comments below. I love Honey
yeah,
Don't.
bring it.
Ringo's
I
great.
love it.
Yeah.
I'm experienced at the honey don't. I got years of experience answering those questions and comments.
Anywho, you've got to hide your love away. Another girl, or it's only love.
You got
Um,
way better choices than I did. Why didn't you throw me one of those last time?
well, it's not down to me. It's down to the
I
gods of
know.
randomness who are cruel people or things. They don't actually exist. Just to clarify for anybody who wasn't aware of that. But yeah, I mean, it's only love is what John would call pretty much one of his worst songs ever. I don't know that I agree with that, but
No, I don't agree with that.
it's nonetheless not the one I'm going to choose because we do have one of his, I think, best songs, um, which is this one. You've got to hide your love away. Well, if that is the final track that we do here today, then redemption is ours, I find.
For sure. Yeah, it's a great song. It's one of my favorite Lennon songs. It's one of my favorite Beatles songs. I think it's fantastic. The vulnerability sounds like he has on here. This is a different, like you believe he's in a little bit of pain, just like you did in Help. and it only comes
Yeah,
two songs later. But he wrote it during what he called his Dylan period, which you kind of hear, and we get a little bit of flute in here. So hey,
yeah. John Scott
but
on the flute, who's not a name I know from anything else, but
no,
he
me neither. But
lives.
yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah, absolutely, one of my favorites as well. And yeah, I really like the growth. I guess the kind of Dylan period that you referenced started a bit with John on Beatles for Sale with No Reply, that kind of
Yeah,
thing. But this is where he really brought it to the forefront. And of course, this is the period where the Beatles and Dylan were influencing each other in both
very much so.
directions, and uh, music would never be the same again, quite literally. Uh, but yeah, there's one thing that has been said about the song, which I just want to mention quickly so that I can dispute it, is the idea that this might have been written about Brian Epstein hiding away his love as a gay man in the 60s. Uh, while we all know that about Brian now, and of course the lads knew and the entourage knew, but it's not the sort of thing I think John would have mentioned even obliquely in a Beatles lyric, because it could have been so damaging to him if it had come out. So
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. It's very possibly about the fact he was married, but you don't want to advertise that fact when you're the teen sensation. So yeah, I agree 100%. I don't think they would have done that about Brian. They loved Brian and they were never the same after Brian passed. So I 100% agree with that.
yeah, so looking at the countdown clock, we probably don't have time for another song, although we do actually have two pretty decent ones left. Uh, the night before, which is of course, well, I say of course, I happen to know, you might not. It's Bo Start's favorite song from this album. So again, we're letting Bo Start down 2 weeks in a row. Sorry about that. And I Need You from George. So you foolishly skipped George's other contribution,
I
even though it's
did.
the
Yeah, I
lesser
agree
number
with
two, I
that. Yeah,
believe. But we should mention George because these were his first songs after Don't Bother Me, which is, in one way, it's 2 years ago, and that doesn't seem that long, but in Beatles terms, it's a huge gap.
yes,
Um, and it's not quite his full blossoming. I think that would come on the next album. But you can see, especially with I Need You, that it's a step up from what he'd done before. I quite like
definitely.
Don't Bother Me, but what are your thoughts on George at this point in time?
Yeah, he's starting to cook, and obviously the tax man's going to come visit next, like right away. And so yeah, George is starting to blossom, and yeah, I should have chose his song. And I just got to say this real quick: there's two fantastic McCartney songs on here, and they're back to back. I've just seen a facing yesterday. It didn't get played just because they came against other absolutely titan songs, and then I ended up with that horrible three choice thing. But it's because McCartney fans are going to watch this. I could tell you from all my experience, but like you guys hate Paul. We don't hate Paul. We love Paul. I could speak for JSP. We love Paul, but I mean, right
Absolutely.
now, early on, Beatles, and especially on this album, besides those two fantastic songs, Paul's just not doing a lot on this album. But that's going to change soon.
Yeah, it varies album to album, certainly. And
Sure.
Paul really does come into his own, as we know, in an album or two. Um, but yeah, certainly no Paul hate. And I had to say, I saw Paul not that long ago, December last year, and
Yeah.
I've Just Seen a Face was the only track from this album that he played, and it was brilliant because I've Just Seen a Face
Yeah.
forever. And I knew the Wings Over America version long before I ever got Help. I think Help didn't enter my collection until sometime in the 2000s, I think. It's one of those rare albums where I don't actually remember exactly where I was and where I got it, but I know it's been there for quite a while at this point. But yeah, I kind of had an idea that I perhaps should have gone with, which was to just remove the covers as options and do the other 12 songs.
Well, you
Maybe I should
thought
have
there
done
was
that, but
no way
no.
anybody would choose a cover, right? So you thought it was safe.
I wanted to be true to the format as well. It's part of the jeopardy involved. So it doesn't always work out, but it's still fun either way. At least I hope it is, and I hope it was for you.
Oh, it's great. It's fantastic. Super enjoyed it.
Excellent. That's what I hope we would both feel, and you at home would feel as well. So don't forget to let us know what your choices would have been given these very tough options. You can also just list your four favorites or however many favorites you want from this album, or anything else you care to say. Comments fields are open for whatever you want, basically, apart from slagging us off, although you can do that as well if you really, really want to. So do let us know what you think of this album overall and our choices today. And if you'd like either Shawn or myself, or possibly both, who knows, to react to a song or album of your choice. My Buy Me a Coffee page is linked below, and Shawn's won't be too hard to track down either, although given that you've seen that he'd picked Dizzy Miss Lizzie over an actual Jaws song, maybe stay away
Yeah,
from him.
yeah,
But
that might be right.
I have bullied Shawn into returning again soon for a different sort of video, so keep an eye out for that. Meanwhile, YouTube has got some helpful suggestions of what to watch next right here. So final thanks to Shawn, and thanks to you for watching, and bye for now, but not for long.
Acting is reacting. This does not mean acting again.